Okay, guys. So I'm going to be reading. This is an important subject. If you're on your healing journey, this point that we're getting across here in this video and in other videos that I've done recently about those who surround you when you're on your healing journey and how the Matrix uses them to distract and take you off the path and discourage you and to make you feel like you're crazy, etc. This is an extremely important topic, guys. And I also just want to say, so I'm going to be reading Jennifer Green's comment on the video Breaking Away from Toxic Abusive People, which I did a couple days ago. And I just want to start off by saying this. First of all, I haven't read her comment yet. She had, let me see. She had left another comment on this video, which I'll read first. It's called Breaking Away from, the video's Breaking Away from Toxic Abusive People. The comment is from Jennifer Green. Just after I watched this video, this person showed up at my door. I hadn't been in contact with her since around Thanksgiving of 2022. I left another, just out of blue, after she watched that video, Breaking Away from Toxic Abusive People, and I talk how, you know, when you start this healing journey, the Matrix is going to send all its little minions to you, like out of the woodwork. People be coming out of the woodwork or just saying weird things to you or looking at you strangely. All kinds of weird shit happens, man. It's very eerie at first. And very like especially with the story I think she's getting ready to tell in her second comment, it's very like, you're like, what the hell? But so she hadn't been in contact with this person since around Thanksgiving of 2022, so a couple years back. I left another long comment thanking you for making this video and your understanding, plus some stuff pertaining to the material in this video, and it's showing up on this account but not on my other one, so I don't know if it's visible to you or anyone else. Now this happens all the time on my channel. Comments are deleted, comments are hid from me. Again, if you send me a comment and I don't respond within 24 to 48 hours, get a hold of me. My email is richardswink@icloud.com. richardswink@icloud.com. You can email me all you want there. But if I don't respond to a comment, I will at least thumbs up and heart every comment, unless it's some stupid, stupid ass comment like Lego my ego or some bullshit like that. I don't have time for that horse shit. But otherwise, if you don't see a comment, if I thumbed up and at least hearted, then, it's because either they deleted your comment, they're hiding your comment, they are not notifying me of your comments, so I have no clue that I have it. There's no way for me to know I have comments unless I get notified. It's one of those things, and they're constantly taking off my thumbs up. They're constantly taking away thumbs up. They're constantly taking away views. They're constantly taking away the hearts I put on things. They're constantly deleting my replies back to people. And again, I will reply back to every comment you leave. So, again, if you don't receive anything within 24 to 48 hours on your comment, it's because I never received it. It got deleted or it got hid. And it's showing up on this account, but not. Okay, so I never got that until this morning. I found that comment that she referred to this morning, finally, because I was getting ready to text her back, and because I had sent her my email and I never received an email from her. So as I was looking for that comment, I found her other comment just now. I haven't even read this comment, guys. I do these videos impromptu. There's no fucking preparing. The video I did on the how dangerous and manipulative these gaslighting Christians are yesterday, the followers of Jesus, those two videos. I never read that boy's comment before I did that. I do it all impromptu because there's no preparation, guys. I am becoming whole. There's no more studying. There's no more anxiety over not passing the test. There's no more feeling like I'm inferior. There's no more feeling like, oh God, I got to get this right. None of that. I'm 100% open and honest. I'm 100%, getting to the bottom of things. I have no ego. I am, when the ego does pop up, I recognize it and I use that as a way to get further in my journey of confidence, of soul, reclaiming my soul and my essence and my birthright. There's nothing I want in this world other than peace and truth. That's it. Peace and truth is what I want. That's it. That's what I strive for every fucking day. Peace, truth, first of all, no matter what that brings, because it's not very peaceful at first. It's a pretty rocky road. But the peace comes as you get out of the horse shit, as you pull away from the illusion, as you pull away from all the indoctrination and the programming and the lies and manipulations. So, again, if you haven't watched that video, Breaking Away from Toxic Abusive People, very important video. The two videos I did yesterday, actually I did 3 yesterday, one on the psych, a comment that 25 years gentleman in the psychiatric field had left, saying how he had to get out of that field because he couldn't stand the abuse he was perpetuating and propagating anymore. So he finally got out. And then the two on how toxic and abusive and gaslighting these followers of Jesus are. And what I'm trying to do is establish how the Matrix is using these people who are too afraid to heal and do the hard work that we're doing and that we speak of on this channel by opening up, being honest, taking personal responsibility and being disciplined. Instead, they just want to give all their cares to some imaginary savior in exchange for a free ticket out of hell. And so that way they don't have to face their shit. They just give it all to an imaginary Jesus. And then everything's okay. They did what they were supposed to do. That's all my requirements. I just have to be a Christian. Christians aren't perfect. They're just forgiven, and all this shit. So they're automatons, guys. They open themselves up as Agent Smiths, and the Matrix will act as an Agent Smith and come in and utilize them, whether it's through their mouth or through their actions or whatever else, in order to distract, discourage, and throw others who are literally like us, who are literally doing the work to reclaim our wholeness and bringing our attention back to ourselves. We're doing our healing. The Matrix will use those minions, those mindless minions, those slave-minded zombies, those non-critical thinking idiots, as pawns to destroy us, try to get us back on the team, right? So again, I haven't read her message. I do all this shit impromptu. So Jennifer Green says, you really nailed it with your synopsis of my comment. And I can't remember what that comment was, neither the exact synopsis of it, but I can pretty much imagine. And if you want to see, you got to watch that video. I can't tell you how much your level of understanding of these issues means to those of us that are on this healing journey. And now that level of understanding she speaks of, we all have that level of understanding. It's just I'm so wide open to that, to what is, without the encumbrances of the programming and the groupthink and the mob think and all of that, that I am able to access that understanding. And now through my healing, I am able to actually articulate, because 6 months ago, I was screaming about how the fucking language is such a barrier to our actual communication, because the thoughts and feelings I have and the things I want to get across, I can't even get out of me. I'm finally able to start getting them out of me now through my continued dedication and proving to myself that I'm worthy and giving that time and effort to myself to heal. I have now gained access to that articulation, in which I'm trying to say we all have access to, guys. Just keep on going. It's a rough, rocky road. It is the most difficult thing you will ever do in your life, but it's the only thing that is worth it, that is actually purposeful on this earth, and that it will actually do anything for your soul and who you are as a human. Everything else is ego, and it's matrix slave work. Everything else, all the healing modalities, everything, guys, is slave work, matrix slave work. Either you are giving the power to yourself, or you are giving it outside yourself to a construct in the matrix that only perpetuates and propagates the illusions and the manipulations, the abuse and the trauma onto others. So unless you are doing this healing and detaching from everything and being that example of what a human is by living and walking in your own truth and faith and reality and trusting in yourself and displaying that courage and being disciplined and taking personal responsibility, then everything else is virtue signaling through ego. It's absolutely imperative to understand that these personal issues are deeply ingrained in the fabric of our society as a whole. Yes, and yes, she's exactly right. These personal issues are deeply ingrained in the fabric of our society as a whole. Yes, it's the individual that makes up the society. See, this whole group think, this matrix, this mob think, these institutions, these governments, all of this is meant to have a bunch of little followers and then take their power out of them individually and tell them that the only thing that matters is the group. What we have to understand is fuck the group. The only thing that matters is the individual, and without the individual, there would be no group. And we have to detach and take our power back and tell them, fuck you. You aren't going to take my power. My power belongs to me. If the only group I belong to is human, I am an innately powerful whole soul needing nothing outside of itself that is the driver of this physical, highly advanced biological avatar. And my only job on this earth is to take care of this avatar and live in align thoughts, words, and actions and live in true fact and reality. So what goes on with the individual is what goes on with the whole, is what I'm saying. That's how important the individual is. I just want to get across, guys, that this matrix has one of the biggest tricks that this matrix is pulling right now is making the individual feel insignificant and inferior. And it's not. It makes you feel insignificant, inferior to the group. And the group is nothing without each individual. And that's what I'm saying. The power is in the individual. The group is an illusion. The group is a construct. The group is slavery. The individual is freedom. The individual is peace. The individual is powerful. The individual holds all the power, all the cards. We need to quit putting our cards on the table. We need to quit throwing our dice in. We need to quit, giving them all of our resources, our attention, our time, focus, and energy. We need to pull that back. And then all of these constructs just fall. They will fall because they don't exist without us. Well, I could pull back, but if nobody else does, then that means I'm stuck all by myself and I'm not having any fun anymore. Yeah, it is. If you are still at that level of thinking, then you really have a lot of introspection to do. A lot. And you have a lot of recognizing and accepting of what things are and figuring things out if you're still in that mindset. I have recently realized I am neurodivergent as well. I also speak how fuck every label, don't let anybody label you with anything, and do not enslave yourself in a fucking box by giving yourself you're labeling yourself with anything. The only label that you will ever really hear me use is neurodivergent, and that just because it's just a quick way, instead of going all the mechanisms of that, it's a quick way to relate to everybody what I'm trying to say. So I use neurodivergent a lot, which means thinking outside the box, thinking outside the group think, thinking outside the mob think, thinking outside the programming, thinking outside the propaganda, free thinking, critical thinking, neurodivergent. And I think, so she says she's realized now recently that she's neurodivergent as well. We all are neurodivergent. That's the thing. We are all neurodivergent. It's just this matrix and this matrix has, through the trauma and abuse as children, forced most people, due to the survival mechanism of the ego, to comply and be whatever I don't even know what, neurotypical, I think is what they call it. Neurotypical, meaning you are in the groupthink. You're able to comply. You're able to bow down, kiss ass, and just agree, and whatever the group thinks, oh, yep, that's what I think too. and so, but we all, deep down as individual humans, as souls, are neurodivergent. None of us think all of these constructs, all of these social justice things, all of these fucking movements, all of these fucking stupid things that they come up with and then separate and divide people and say, oh, see, this is what this snowflake is and this snowflake's like this. Oh, look at this special design. Are all constructs, guys. They're all constructs to make us feel like we're all completely different and we have different lives, different truths, different opinions, different everything, and it's complete lie. I think that our type of neurodivergency allows us to relate our experiences on a micro level to the way society functions as a whole, the macro level. Yes, that's because we have deeper insight, because we are not afraid to think freely, because we are not bound by the fog and the veil of this matrix, because anytime we look around it, we go, ooh, and put our veil back over our face and go, oh, it's nice and comfy in here. No, we live with this fucker. We fucking took that thing off and threw it away a long time ago, and we see exactly what shit's going on, and we have no fucking problem pointing it out and making parallels and seeing patterns and going, oh yeah, this related to that, the knee bone's connected to the elbow, this is doing this is doing that, blah, 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 blah. And people don't like that, again, because it questions their reality. It puts them, people like us, put these neurotypicals, these slave-minded zombies, into fucking cognitive dissonance. And they don't like that. They don't like having their worldviews shattered. They don't like having their belief systems fucking questioned. They don't like having their fucking breads and circuses disrupted with your commercial interruptions of reasoning and critical thinking. They can't deal with that. All they are seeking is instant gratification, because they are in so much pain and they can't stop running. So yes, Jennifer, you're right on. The way you're seeing this, you're right on. And yeah, that's exactly how I would see it too. Our neurodivergency allows us to relate our experiences on the micro level to the way society functions as a whole on the macro level. Yep. I too have the opportunity to really think about these things with a minimum of distractions. Man, that's awesome, Jennifer. Take that time, take that attention, just keep it up, girl. I mean, you're the only one that's worthy of your attention. Give it to yourself. Do it. Learn how to build that trust in yourself, man. We need more people like this that are doing this and taking this time for themselves and realizing and starting to recognize our powers. I mean, it's the most powerful and purposeful thing that we could ever do. That's awesome. I'm so happy for you. I mean, that really fucking makes me goddamn happy. Of course, I've had to cut off about 100 people between friends and family, no exaggeration, who refuse to help themselves. Yes, and that is where the courage comes in. That is where the courage comes in this process, is you cut them off. They question them. Quick question. Do you need this in order to start? Do you need this? Do you need a savior? Do you need a government? Do you need teachers? Do you need experts? Oh yeah, of course you need that. Okay, see you later. It's that easy, guys. I mean, you got to put yourself first, and these people are nothing but roadblocks and stumbling blocks. And see, for me personally, I held on to a lot of these people for much longer than I should have because of my trauma bonding, like especially my brother, and other people because I was a big, I was a crazy fucking wild motherfucker, but I was one of those people who my enemies were enemies and my fucking friends knew I would die for them. That type of crazy, right? So I was very hardcore, and so I felt an obligation. Even once I started this healing, I felt an obligation, like, I had to, they were my responsibility. Right? I was part of the reason they were even living, because I was giving them that inspiration, that love, and that encouragement to live. So you have to break these bonds. It's all trauma bond. It's a trauma bond, guys. And usually those of us that feel like that is because we were actually the most abused and traumatized out of our friend groups and family groups. And they do not feel as deeply like that about us that we feel about them. So, we have to pull back from these people. We have to cut them off completely. I've cut everybody, guys. Every fucking buddy off. I mean, and it made me fucking go, oh my God, constantly. I mean, because I've had so much time to just sit and think and go over in my head and use my critical thinking and my reasoning and just go over and over and over and over from every fucking angle to make sure that I'm not doing this wrong, that I'm not being the dick or the asshole or the ego motherfucker that's just kicking everybody to the curb and, and just going off the deep end. I had to constantly question myself and just until now, where I'm at now, it's just so firm. My foundation now is so goddamn solid that there's not a doubt in my mind what's happening, what's going on, and there's not a doubt in my mind that I've taken the correct and proper steps in handling all of this. And I'm telling you right now, one of the most important things you can do on your journey is cut off everybody. I quit talking. I didn't take a phone call for like over a year. 0 phone calls, because I realized the power of somebody when they call you through a phone, how they can take your attention, take your energy and take it away. And then it takes you time to recover each time from that. Cut all off, cut off communications. The only thing, all this phone and internet shit and in talking and Skyping to people all over the world. And I have friends here and friends there, and I'm like, and they really care about me. They don't give a fuck about you. The only thing that matters is what is happening to your physical realm right here. That is it. That is how you're going to do your healing. Thinking that the world is living through your computer screen, the world is living through your phone, the world is living a phone call away. All of this shit, guys, you are going to keep yourself in a circle and make your healing journey so much harder. So she cut off over 100 people between friends and family who refused to help themselves. The only people we can help is ourselves. And so if you don't cut these people off, you are going to be living with that burden of responsibility that we place on ourselves, that we are responsible for them, and we are not. Everybody is responsible for her or himself. There is literally no one left, which I have come to accept and now realize is actually a good thing. Awesome, you've made it to that point. And see that, like I said, that's where I had to do too, Jennifer. I had to, it took me a long time of deep introspection for hours and hours and hours a day, every fucking day, to be able to get to where I'm at now and get my healing this far, to be, like you said, to realize that what I did was a good thing. So kudos to you, Jennifer. Hell yeah. I was a bartender for 25 years. That's one reason why I had so many deeply disturbed and unhealed friends, as I was deeply disturbed and unhealed myself. Yeah, I was a waiter for about a year, and I know that life. It's crazy. And then, of course, I was a bar fly for a long time. So, yeah, I completely understand that life and the people. It's the bar hoppers are the most, disturbed and traumatized and abused individuals. You know how these people grew up and how they lived their lives. I understand exactly what you're saying, Jennifer. I did have some really great friends in the past, and my dad was also a positive influence in my life, but they have all transitioned. Yeah, all the good ones are gone, right? But again, we got to be careful of thinking those things too, because we never know if those perspectives of how we viewed those people was when we were still in our trauma and we were trauma bonded and all we wanted was attention and love and hugs and, people to say good things to us. But I do understand what you're saying. Their energy is still with me, however, and I can perceive their help as I move along on this journey. Awesome. Yeah, so you feel that power, that guidance, sort of. But just remember, you got to be very careful with any outside guidance unless it's imbued into you, and however that works. You know what you're doing. I myself, Jennifer, I'm constantly questioning myself. I'm questioning everything, even things as small as what you just said. I just question for myself, like, is this power I'm feeling, is it really something outside of me? Is it something that's going to want something from me in exchange for what it's doing for me? Because we very easily, especially those who have been traumatized and abused and had a lot of trauma bonding in our lives, it's very easy for us to humiliate or humble ourselves to the point of non-conducive to our health and well-being. And we also will very willingly, because we're such hard workers and dedicated and go-getters, that we will very easily give up the glory or the what word am I looking for? Like the kudos that we deserve, we'll give it up to others and say, oh, well, you know, I couldn't have done it without them. So I hear what you're saying. Thank you for your honesty. And I'm just, you know, I'm just sort of going into it deeper, and that's all. I wanted to touch on the topic of NPCs. I'm glad you went into that in this video. As a little side note, that relates to this topic. A couple of years ago, when I quit drinking and smoking and drinking, albeit with a few backslides, on the same day, 3 different people came to my door. Yep, exactly. One had a marijuana edible that they offered me, another had a bottle of champagne, and the other had some Vicodin. It sounds like a good evening. Yeah, and those are the types of things. Yeah, you try to give this up and you try to pull back from your addictions and the things that are keeping you enslaved, and the Matrix knows those of us that are critical thinkers, and those of us that are free spirits, the Matrix knows that those addictions like drugs and alcohol, sex, you know, those things mean a lot to us and really help us stay, you know, numb to the truth and reality of things. So when people like us pull back from those addictions, the Matrix definitely sends people. And so the Matrix sent 3 people to her. It was like the 3 wise kings, right? One had marijuana, one had champagne, and the other one had Vicodin. God damn, yeah, exactly. That's what came to mind when you mentioned that the Matrix will send agents to you to impede your healing. Yep. Yeah, that's so funny. And just know, Jennifer, that just shows right there, that's just a fucking confirmation of the absolute power that you have, that the Matrix is scared to death for you to recognize and reclaim. Most people think NPCs are born without a soul. I don't think that. I don't know if there's clones. There might be clones. See, like when they do these resets, it seems like it seems like there's a civilization underground, or they're doing something with people underground, and they're cloning people, and like when they do these resets, they're you know, repopulating the earth with these clones that are born outside of the human womb. And you know, there's weird Cabbage Patch stories, there's weird incubator stories, you know, the World's Fairs with the incubators, the Cabbage Patches. So there's a lot of weird things, but again, you know, we got to be careful to jump in those rabbit holes, and they are rabbit holes, but they're very interesting rabbit holes. Because again, you know, they're probably resetting humanity every 150, 200 years. And I think what they're doing is they're resetting humanity because our innate soul and spirit only deals with this bamboozlement for so long, and this manipulation for so many generations before us start waking up and just going, enough's a fucking enough, motherfucker, and doing whatever it takes and detaching. And as we see this Matrix runs off our involvement. Again, the Matrix group only exists through each individual, and that's why each individual is so fucking important. And if it loses too many of that group, then it starts taking that power away from the Matrix, so it has to do a reset, is how I'm seeing it now, right? That's not a truth. That's not a truth yet, but that is just, you know, common sense to me right now from what I can piece together and the way I'm seeing everything work with the patterns and the way that they try telling how history is and archaeologically and all of these different ways. That's the way, with a lot involved, that's the way I see it right now. But yes, so she said recently she has had an epiphany that maybe NPCs are actually NPCs by choice because they refuse to heal. Yes, I think we're all NPCs, so not all of us. Like there's some that it's weird. Like it can be nuanced. I'm trying to figure out a way to do this real quick. I don't want to go too deep into this on this video, but Yes, so NPCs by choice, that would be those who refuse to heal because they're downloaded on the program and they're mindless minions. They're brain dead zombies. They're NPCs, non-player characters. Like I said, the Matrix can come in as an Agent Smith and occupy their vessel. It's like their vessel is open at any given moment because they're running off of ego. Their soul's so far deep buried in the back seat, and they just keep on consenting to all of the medical interventions, the voting in these political things for authorities over them, these consenting to technological advancements and giving all their time, energy, attention, and money over to these technological advancements to be downloaded to AI. So yes, those people who are participating in these things are by consent NPCs. I agree. That's how I'm seeing it too, Jennifer. And I'll probably end up doing a video at some point in time. If you guys want to throw some ideas by on that, I don't like doing this whole well, what's your opinion? What do you think? But like her, she's actually critically thought, and she takes a lot of time to herself for introspection. So I respect where she's going because she's using critical thinking. She's not just going, well, I watched a video and, oh, I think they're all NPCs. I watched a video and they're all clones. I watched a video and they all came from Cabbage Patches and incubators. I watched a video. You know what I mean? You can tell she's really coming to conclusions from her own truth and deep introspection on this. So if you guys have deep introspection on these topics, feel free to leave them. You know what I mean? But again, I don't care where we came from, where we're going, all that horse shit. It's all until we heal. The most important thing we do is put our time and attention on the healing. The one thing that is pretty cool to think about, because I just sort of feel right now that it does have a lot to do with our healing, is understanding like our friends and family, like, because we like with our parents, we don't want to shame them and be like, Mom and Dad, you abused me and traumatized me at birth and indoctrinated me into slavery systems. We're not supposed to do that. We're supposed to distance our emotions, distance ourselves from the whole game. And I think understanding what NPCs are on this level helps with that separation and getting that separation so that way we can have our space in our room to heal. Yes, so they're NPCs by choice, I would say too, yes. And then again, these reptilians, or if there are reptilians or there are demons or clones, I would say the only positions they hold in society are kings, queens, presidents, high-ranking military, high-ranking government officials, and celebrity. That's if those things exist, if they're not just a fabrication of the Matrix to throw us off into rabbit holes, then I would say those are the only bodies, human bodies that they inhabit, are those types of bodies. But I don't even know, because like I said, I'm starting to think that, all of these things are just made up to turn us human against human with all these different divisions and distractions and not focus on what's really important. Because that seems to be the best fucking way to bamboozle everybody and get everybody like never being able to find answers. Because again, in my soul, in who I am and through my deep introspection, I've never intuited reptilians. I mean, I've even, like I said, when I did child work 6 months ago, and I went in and I rescued my 3 or 4 year old self from these 3 alien, grayish green alien beings with these big black bug eyes that were on top of my body and in my room. And there was this what looked like exactly like a UFO with the light shining down through the roof into my room. And I went in there and rescued them myself. And, so I've had I've had tons of experiences with these things, with these extraterrestrial things and these spirits and etc. And so it's not that I'm just flat out denying because I've never had any. I've had these experiences, but using my critical thinking and just seeing how this matrix works and how this how the bamboozlement works and how the illusion works and how anytime you go outside yourself is a way for the matrix to drive you from the truth. It just seems to me now like all these deities, all these entities, all of these non-ethereal beings, all of this shit, all astral travel, all of that just seems to be like just another way of matrix control to manipulate and confuse. Because when I go inside just myself, consciously, inside of myself, to my soul, to my essence, there is none of that. And, I sat with it, I didn't get freaked out when I rescued my 3 or 4 year old self from those alien type of beings, and I didn't give them credence like the power of, oh God, you guys are real, I saw you, I know for a fact you're real, I've seen you, I was this close. I mean, I was literally standing in my small, kid's bedroom, and I had one standing here next to me, one standing here, and they're looking at me like this, like I just caught them in the act, and then one on top of my bunk bed on top of me, looking over at me, you know what I mean? So I was that close just 6 months ago to these things and saw them, and I still am, it's almost like an episode of Scooby-Doo, like there's no being afraid there. It's like whichever investigators in Scooby-Doo, were, no matter how terrible and mean the ghost was, they could stand right there and be like, something's going on here. It's sort of like that is how I'm handling these situations, because I'm so confident in myself. And either way, if they are real, they sure as hell don't scare me, because they've proven to me that I'm way, 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 way more powerful than they are. Sorry, I know I'm getting off track, but these are a lot of things that have been stewing around in me and that I'm trying to get out. Yes, they have a soul, but they basically sold it out to the Matrix for trinkets. Yes, bread and circuses, the illusion of safety, the illusion of knowledge, the illusion of it's okay, you don't have to worry about anything, we got it all under control, the illusion of free ticket out of hell, the illusion of all of these things. Exactly, you're exactly right, Jennifer. So it's for the bread and circuses, but it's also, which that keeps the ego distracted and happy and gratified, but it's also for the illusion of safety and comfort, which is what our parents were supposed to give us at birth: safety and comfort, which they never gave us. So we're yearning for that safety and comfort, and because our parents never fostered that safety and comfort, we never knew how to make that safety and comfort for ourselves. So we've always been relying on outside sources. So yes, they're sold out to the system. Their whole being relies on being sold out to the system and accepting the system's programming in exchange for their soul. That's a good way to put it. In exchange for their authenticity, because we still have our soul. I don't think that we can give our soul away. I don't think that the Matrix can take our soul. I think our soul is still there. It's just with every action we take, we just keep on pushing that thing, pushing it back, beating it up. Shut up, soul. That's how I view it. Because we can reclaim our soul at any time. And I'm not saying any of these people are not able to be saved or able to find their way out of this enslavement or any such manner. Am I saying it looks pretty fucking hopeless for most of them? God damn, yes, it does. But are they hopeless? Is there absolutely no way? No. The testament to the fucking human spirit soul is absolutely phenomenal. I do not give up on anybody, but at the same time, I am invested fully in myself and not in others' ability to save themselves. NPCs go by many names: Tears, Agent Smiths, Agents of the State, Hylics, by Gnostic terms, and the like. Yes. Man, Jennifer, this is a cool conversation. I'm really enjoying this conversation. Like I said, I haven't read this yet, so this is the first time I've read this, man. I'm really, really glad to see that other people are not going outside themselves, but are just relying on their own fucking authority and coming to these conclusions. Of course, you had to do, you've heard a lot of this, like Tears comes from the Bible, Agent Smiths, of course, we know where that comes from, or Agents of the State, that's another line of thinking. Hylics by Gnostics, there's a little bit of Gnosticism in there. But these are that's how our language is an enslavement, because we need to use these things, unfortunately, to relate to each other. And Jennifer, what I want to get to next, our next step, is getting to the point where me and you can speak to each other telepathically without a computer, without a phone, anything. And it'd be like we're right here in front of each other. And I think through my common sense and reasoning and detaching from all of these things that tell us, well, this is the only way to communicate with people, and using my own common sense and putting things together and realizing the innate power we have, I think, Jennifer, me and you keep on healing, we're going to be communicating in that way, and probably very sooner than what either one of us could have imagined. Because we are putting our time and attention, energy, and focus into the only thing that matters, which is our whole, which is our soul. And we are doing the important work. And I'm not just saying me and Jennifer, I'm talking about all of us, guys. All of us are capable of these things, but it takes dedication. It's the hardest thing in the world to do. She's cut everybody off. She's given up on all the programs, all the safety nets of saviors and outside sources and beliefs and all of that, and is using her own critical thinking and relying on herself and her judgments and trusting herself, and thereby learning what love is. I'm sure every belief system has a name for them. Yep. We are just able to cross-reference these terms because our neurodivergent way of thinking. Yes, because at the essence of it, Jennifer, me and you are the same. We are whole souls that are instantly connected to each other. Just like me and you are sitting right next to each other, we are connected like that. We just have to keep on healing and getting those blockages out. That's what I'm doing. Brandon sort of explained how the juicing works with detox, and how it clears out all the arteries, cleans out all the blockages in our systems, and our cardiovascular systems, and our neurological systems, and all of these different areas. That juicing is helping clear out those blockages. And by doing this healing in the other ways that we're doing it, is clearing out all those blockages to allow us that access, that instant access of communication with each other and telepathically. Most people have tunnel vision, to the detriment of themselves and society. Yes, because they are the ones who fuel this division, who fuel these industries, these governments, these social hierarchies, etc., and fuel these fucking slave programmings and everything else, because they aren't taking responsibility. And that's the problem, guys, that you're like, well, I just, I'm a nice guy. I have a good job. I volunteer. I save money. I save money for my kids to go to college, and I listen, and I obey the law, and I pay my taxes, and I give money every year to this and that, and I help the children. That's all virtue signaling. That everything I just talked about right there, that these idiots are out there virtue signaling about with their egos and justifying playing games in this matrix. It's all perpetuating and propagating systems of slavery and abuse. No matter how you want to justify it and act like, well, it's just the way it is. And you want to act like, well, what's it hurting? I'm more good than I am bad. What's it hurting? We all need money. What's it hurting? I have to have a roof over my head. And that kind of thinking, until you break down and detach from everything, you are contributing. You are propagating and perpetuating these systems of abuse in this matrix system that enslaves all of us. Period. It's that simple. What has been on my mind lately has been the term manufactured consent, which has led me to the term implied consent. And then, of course, there is just plain consent. Yeah. Manufactured consent. And that's more than I want to go into here. This is already a long video. But yeah, these are definitely great things to think about. And if you guys want to leave, Jennifer, if you want to leave another comment, like I said, you guys can email me, richardswink at icloud.com. But yes, these are important, and these are things that I've been touching on, but I haven't gone directly into, especially giving the words, the exact verbiage for it. So manufactured consent, implied consent, and then just plain consent. Yeah. So we'll go into that in another video. Again, if you guys want to give some insights on those things and your thoughts, you can leave comments or email me. What I'm wondering is if NPCs gave their implied consent to be agents of the state, or was it manufactured consent? Okay, so I'll touch on that real quick and get to the very root of where the NPCs, our consent. My consent was given over, Jennifer. Your consent was given over. Everybody else's consent was given over at birth. Okay? At birth, by being forced through the trauma placed on the brain and the brain survival mechanism of having to create an ego in order to survive, a fake character in order to play out and please people, right? And that character had to go in and get medical interventions and smile at its parents while its parents shoved, poisonous food in its face, and it had to scream and cry until it realized that its parents were only happy when it would sleep on its own, and had to do all of these things that were unnatural and non-conducive to biological life, and all of these traumatic abusive ways that our parents raised us. And then to top it all off, that NPC character that we've all played was the one who went to school, got good grades, did what he had to do. Now, the neurodivergency, like I said, there are those of us who were unable to sell out completely and comply, and those are those of us who were diagnosed ADD, ADHD, ODD, operational defiant disorder. We refuse to follow orders. We question authority, those types of things. So those of us who very strange and few and far between, because it takes a lot of balls. Like I said, the amount of abuse that we go through as children, those of us who stood up, and refused. I don't say that there's anything special about us other than the fact that I just don't think our brains were able to flip that switch completely to comply. Like, we literally weren't. Like, my mom could sit there and beat me and ground me for 2 years and just take my whole life away, and me knowing it, and all I had to do was agree that something that was sitting in front of me that was black was white because she said it was white, and I refused to do it, and knowing the consequences. So, I just think that it's the reclamation. So all our consent is just completely taken. Our birthright, that is our birthright, is stolen. And I can go deeper into this. I just think this video is so long already. But yeah, if you guys are getting the gist, you can break down what you think I'm saying, whatever else in the comment section, because this is obviously going to need another video for it. But man, just great comment, Jennifer. Incredible comment. This is the kind of thinking and interaction that we need to build our intelligence up, because we already have that. Let me restate that. Our intelligence is already there. We're just reclaiming our intelligence. We're just remembering how to trust ourselves and know that we know, and we've always known. We're just clearing out blockages and programmings and habits that have always told us that we're inferior and that we don't know because we don't have a certificate or a diploma, etc. So yeah, guys, please leave your thoughts and we will get into this deeper. Or maybe it's on a case-by-case basis. I think it probably relates to what we are doing here in our situations. I don't think so. Myself, I don't think so, because then you'd have to go down the whole path of we're here for a reason and we're here to learn lessons and everybody has a different purpose, and I don't think that's the case. I think all of us, if we could lift this matrix veil right now, if we could lift this matrix veil and everybody be where we're at by not needing to go outside themselves, detaching from everything, realizing they don't need to eat food, realizing that they don't need a house, all this stuff's a construct, and just understanding that what our lives are supposed to be like is completely different than anything we could even possibly imagine until we fully healed, because it doesn't involve anything that we are the way we're living now, cars, any of this stuff. It is literally so different, far different than how we're living now. And if we can lift this veil of enslavement, then we all can go back and be the exact same. There's no missions, there's none of that Dolores Cannon horse shit. There's none of that. None of that. There's no Arcturians. There's no fucking elite space force that's there for us. There's none of that. And I'm not saying that's what you're implying. I'm covering this for everybody in case, because I know people are in different mindsets watching this stupid ass YouTube channels that, are doing nothing but distracting and hurting people into these endless cattle pens and rabbit holes of enslavement and distraction. So I don't think that's the case. I think it's just us being, again, it comes back to personal responsibility, discipline, being courageous, and being honest. If we do those four things, all of us can break this spell. Again, getting back to the 100th monkey theory, is it once enough of us do what me and you are doing, Jennifer, and other people are doing, that it's going to all of a sudden switch the tide of humanity and just completely break this matrix and break the bonds, break the spell, break the chains that are on all of humanity? I don't know. And I don't even think about that far, because I got to get myself healed before I can even, that will come with my healing as I know, and I trust myself that I know, if that makes sense. I think it probably relates to what we are doing here in our situations. Again, I'm very careful about that, because that would imply that we are choosing to come here and that we are choosing to learn lessons, and that that history, supposedly history, it was I'm leaning more towards we are being tricked into reincarnating, and that we are actually these physical bodies, if we hadn't been poisoning them and we weren't in such sick, toxic environments non-conducive to biological life, that these biological systems would inhabit for probably thousands of years, maybe, who knows. And see, the reason we think that's a long time is because we've been put in this box, this construct of these timelines. And so, the whole thing is an operation, a psychological operation. And so, that's the way I see it, is that I see it more as we are just a hijacked species, and being reincarnated, constantly reincarnated into different physical avatars, and that all we have to do is reclaim our essence, and then we are able to live out and be that which has been stolen from us. But again, this is going to have to be a different video because this thing's getting long. But she says, again, thanks so much for hosting a platform where people like me can explore these topics while being taken seriously without being ridiculed. It means so much and is so important. Yes, it is so important. And just remember, this platform would not exist without you and without everybody else on it interacting and having these honest conversations and being open and sharing and being human. That is what it takes, guys. It takes us to be honest, be open, take personal responsibility, be courageous, be disciplined, and share. And again, if you're just at the beginning of your healing journey, there's so much you can take from those of us who are farther in, where you will quickly break through these barriers and these mind programs and these mind chains that are holding you back, of like all of these stupid theories and these stupid concepts and these stupid thought processes and these stupid opinions and the billions of different truths out there. So yeah, guys, so thank you, Jennifer, so much for the comment. Again, I read that impromptu. I just received that today. Again, her comment was hidden from me, so I didn't see it till today. Again, I will always get back to a comment. I will at least thumbs up and heart it all the time, unless you say something stupid like Lego my ego. So, if I don't get back to you within 24 or 48 hours, you can hit me back up again. You can get me at richardswink@icloud.com. And thanks for being here, guys. Thanks for engaging. Thanks for doing the only thing that matters, which is human-to-human communication, being open, honest, and courageous, because, man, that really inspires and encourages everybody else. So, yeah, guys, remember to take care of yourselves, because nobody else will.